But again, I want to thank everyone for joining our January Lunch and Learn. This will be on a Spark Hire year in review. So today's call is scheduled for an hour, but it will probably take more like 30 minutes. Again, that recording will go out to all of our participants afterward. So my name is actually Maria Simpson. I am the Customer Outcomes Manager here at Spark Hire. Macy O'Brien is the onboarding specialist that actually put this Lunch and Learn together. And she is out sick today, so I will be stepping in. But this was created by Macy. And before we get started, I wanted to introduce Macy to you all. She's an onboarding a senior onboarding specialist here at Spark Hire. And Macy works with companies who are brand new to the platform. Her job is to train and educate teams so they can implement Spark Hire into their own hiring and recruiting process. The main goal for Macy as a senior onboarding specialist is to ensure the customers and clients that she works with that she has a strong understanding of everything so they can continue on to a successful path after working with her. And then for today's webinar, we will recap all of the biggest updates that were made to the Spark Hire platform this past year. And during our time together, just keep in mind your organization's process using Spark Hire and how these new features could fit into your workflow. All right, so before we hop into the agenda for today's webinar, I would love to hear from you all for a moment. On the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see a poll up here with the question, how many updates do you think were made to the Spark Hire platform during 2022? I'll give everyone a minute to answer here. All right, so looks like we're starting to slow down in responses here. Answers are coming in. So it looks like most people answered 5 to 9. And if you did, you're very, very close. Believe it or not, there were 10 new updates made just in 2022, plus the addition of a new ATS integration. So you can also count 11 if you include that integration. So throughout 2021, we received a lot of customer feedback about their desire to boost collaboration, further customize the interview process to fit their unique needs, and make their hiring process more efficient. That really became the overall theme of the platform improvements that we've made this past year. So the Spark Hire team took that feedback, took those suggestions from our customers, from people in our organization, and then from there, we made those changes to make the overall experience better for you all and your candidates. During today's webinar, we're going to take a look at multiple updates made and then go over a new Spark Hire partner that you can integrate with. So first, we'll start with the updates, and then we'll talk about our new Spark Hire integration partner. So to begin, one of the most requested features was communicating with candidates about interviews through SMS messages. The Spark Hire engineers worked incredibly hard on this new feature, and users are now able to notify candidates that they were invited to a one-way interview via text message. So if you are on a Modern Pro, Modern Team, Modern Growth, or an Enterprise plan, you will already have access to this feature and you can start using it. If you're not on a plan with SMS notifications or are unsure if you do have access to the SMS notifications, please contact your customer success manager if that's something that you are interested in learning more about. So to send SMS notifications when you send a traditional one-way interview invitation, you would enter the candidate's phone number in the indicated box, or you may use the CSV upload option. If you have a large group of candidates and would like to send the one-way interview in bulk, you would be able to use that CSV option. And there's now 2 additional columns. So if you're already familiar with it, you probably know that it's going to have the candidate's name, email, address, and now you're going to be able to enter in the candidate's country code and phone number. So you can do that in bulk as well. But once you send that interview invite, the candidate is going to receive a text message that you see here on the screen. The message is going to just say, "Hello, candidate. Your organization invited you to a Spark Hire video interview. Check your email for instructions and next steps." SMS is going to ensure that even more quality candidates will engage with your interview. According to Twilio, 9 out of 10 text messages are opened within the first 3 minutes of being received. This makes it a really great way for brands to capture the attention of their recipients. Twilio is the SMS service that we use to notify Spark Hire candidates of those interview invitations. So with SMS, candidates can be reached quicker, notifying them that they've been selected to move forward in your organization's interview process. The message is going to encourage them to check their email more promptly. And these types of notifications are beneficial because the candidate can get hired more quickly, and you can also receive quality hires in a shorter amount of time. So it's a win-win situation on both ends there for both you and the candidate. Another recent addition to the SMS feature is reminder notifications. So if a candidate has not completed their interview, they will receive a message that says, the deadline for your interview with ABC company on Spark Hire is approaching. Check the email with your interview invitation for details. So the reminder will be sent out 24 hours prior to the candidate's interview deadline, except if that time would fall between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. in the interview's time zone. So if that's the case, the reminder will be sent at 8 p.m. on the day prior to the deadline to give ample time during waking hours. It's a wonderful feature addition because it's able to gently remind candidates about their upcoming deadline, but it also puts the interview at the forefront of their mind. They're more likely to read and see this type of reminder compared to an email notification. Seeing that text message will prompt them to go to that link in their email more quickly. So this is also going to save you time because now you won't have to manually follow up with candidates that have yet to complete their interview. So that takes one thing off of your to-do list if you're using this feature, giving you more time to complete other tasks in the hiring process and your day-to-day work. So overall, the 2 types of SMS messages that can now be sent out through Spark Hire can really impact the results that you see in terms of those completed interview rates. When sending Spark Hire interviews, you'll still be able to include a message that appears in the email invitation. So that is going to be different than that SMS message. Even with the SMS release, it is still recommended to input a message in the email invitation that goes out to candidates. In this message, you and your team can include more details about the interview and your process that will not be included in the text message. The text message is there to be used more of as a notification, whereas the email is going to give them more details. The email message is a really great way to engage your candidates and make them excited about the interview. We typically recommend congratulating the candidate on moving forward in your interview process. And we do have some sample email templates that your team can utilize when sending one-way interviews. And our moderator, Emily, will put them in, put that link in the chat for you all. So you've probably noticed that there are various tools aside from one-way interview invites that allow users to include a custom message to their recipient, just like in that message we talked about. To save yourself time, we recommend creating and saving email templates in your library. So if you go into the email library, you will see there are 12 different email templates that you can have written out and saved into your Spark Hire account. All of those options are listed on the screen here. So having those email templates set up ahead of time can really save you and your team an immense amount of time when it comes to personalized communication throughout the interview process. And we have merge variables that you can use to make everything custom and use the candidates' names when addressing them, even if you're sending through bulk. All right, so speaking of email templates, a new feature that was added to the email template library in 2022 are permissions. In the past, Spark Hire users could only see the templates that they themselves created. However, we found that users wanted the ability to easily share their email templates among their team on the platform. So when someone creates an email template, now they can decide if everyone is able to see the email template within Spark Hire, only the manager of that template, or specific users or user groups. So this new feature allows team members to keep communication with clients and candidates consistent across all team members and departments. It allows everyone to share their ideas with each other and really collaborate a little bit better. So if you share an email template, the user will be able to see it in their library and select it and use it when they are working in the platform. So now let's take a look at an update made to the branding sections, specifically a change made to what candidates will see when they click on an interview invite. So you've got your email templates all set up. You're going to send them out. This is going to highlight what that new invitation is going to look like for your candidates. So when candidates click on an interview link, they will be taken to a landing page with details about the job that they are interviewing for, as well as information about your organization. Earlier in the year, job details, organization information, and a support FAQ were separated into 3 different tabs that the candidates would click through in order to see. Now we have combined those 3 sections onto one page. So the candidate is able to get a more higher level view of the job description, learn more about who they're interviewing with, and get a good look through your photos, your videos, and gain access to those support resources. So the information is more easily accessible to your candidates. And they'll be more likely to actually read up on your organization. It also allows Spark Hire users to personalize their branding a bit more easily. It is highly, highly recommended that you build out your branding section within your Spark Hire account. So if you do not have your branding section completely filled out, we do recommend adding in your logos, a photo slideshow, media links, and an About Us video. This will really improve the candidate experience. By doing so, right away, your candidates are going to be able to see that they are in the right place for their interview by those logos and those photos. But it also gives candidates the chance to learn more about the organization before going into the next step of your process. So candidates will be able to gain more insight, picture what it could be like being a part of your team, and ultimately this gets them bought into that next step of your hiring process. So continuing on to our next update in 2022, alongside the changes on your end of the platform, we also made some big changes to the candidate interview experience. When completing a one-way or a live interview, candidates no longer need to create a Spark Hire account. In my experience at Spark Hire, this was a huge piece of feedback that we've heard from companies that we've all worked with on the onboarding team and the customer success team. We got a lot of feedback that they would prefer that candidates did not have to create a login. And we are very excited to report that now candidates do not need to create a login to complete their interview. In the past, interviewees would enter their email address and create a password to access their interviews. Now, when they click on their interview, they'll simply accept the terms and conditions and jump right into their video interview. So this update has multiple benefits. It removes any confusion about account creation that candidates may have had in the past. Also, it makes interviewing for your organization in the beginning stages quicker and easier for candidates. So those two factors combined will have been encouraging greater completion rates. So now your team can get to know a larger pool of candidates. There have also been tweaks made to the one-way interview process, eliminating the small steps that candidates used to have to go through to get to their interview questions. If you look at it as a whole, we found that there has been a 40% reduction in clicks in the setup process for candidates. This is a really great improvement that has impacted the candidate experience quite positively. I do recommend sending yourself a test interview to view, to experience the new candidate experience. But it's a really great way for yourself to see how that interview process has been improved. And then you can also take a look at our new candidate experience video. Emily, our moderator, is going to pop that in the chat right now, so you can take a look at that video when you have some time. But this is a great resource to send to your team members or hiring managers that are new to using the Spark Hire platform, or just anyone who would benefit from seeing that candidate experience video in general. So once a candidate accepts the terms and conditions, they can then go to the next step in the interview, and they'll be prompted to fill out the questionnaire that you have set up for them. So Spark Hire has had our original basic questionnaire for a while. That is the questionnaire where you can collect candidates' names, emails, phone numbers, profile photos, and resume. Basic information there for you to learn more about your candidates. However, we added premium questionnaires here in 2022 as one of our new releases. So the advanced questionnaire is a feature that can help collect even more info from candidates that is going to be important to your organization or your client's interview process. This feature is really wonderful because sometimes you just have questions that don't need a full video answer, right? Maybe something around salary or something around availability, right? You don't need a candidate to jump on screen and say, I'm available Monday through Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or whatever that might be. The premium questions on the advanced questionnaire can be used to obtain that kind of information. There's a plethora of different response types that you can utilize with that advanced questionnaire. So on the screen here, you'll see the different kinds of questions you can ask within the advanced questionnaire. So you can do single line text, which would allow the candidate to answer answer via text in a single line. If you'd like to gather a writing sample, you can do paragraph text, have a drop-down menu where candidates can select specific options you've provided, numbers, dates, check boxes, and then radio buttons and URL. If you're not familiar with radio buttons, that's just going to be your classic multiple choice there. So if you do utilize the advanced questionnaire, candidates will be able to answer all of these types of questions before going to the video portion of their one-way interview. So some examples, as I mentioned earlier, you can use it to collect scheduling information, knowledge levels on various topics, salary expectations. You can confirm if somebody is licensed, maybe they need a CDL, or if you need teaching licensure. There's a lot of different ways you can use the advanced questionnaire. And another benefit to this feature is that it ensures that your team is getting the information that you need to properly assess your candidates early on in the process. So before this feature was released, we would hear from customers that when a written section and video interview questions were separated and candidates had to go to different websites, candidates sometimes missed one or the other. So having everything in one place not only keeps you organized, but it also allows the candidate to complete everything in one quick step. So that is going to be a really good benefit to both you. You can look at the candidate's info and their video interview and the candidate, because it's all going to be done in that one platform. So having your candidates fill out this info also benefits your team in a way that the candidates can get that done earlier for you. The initial stages of the interview process are more organized, and it just feels more streamlined. So you can add the advanced questionnaire to your plan at any time. It is an additional feature and an add-on. So if you are interested in adding it to your plan, or you just want to learn more about it, please reach out to your customer success manager. They will be more than happy to give you some more information on that. Once those one-way video interviews are completed, the typical next step is to schedule a Spark Hire live interview or an in-person interview with your top candidates. And the Spark Hire scheduler tool is going to be a really great way to put that on your calendar and your candidate's calendar without multiple emails back and forth trying to find a date and time that works. So there was an update made to our scheduler tool in 2022 that can make your process even easier. The newest addition is that our scheduler can now automatically approve requested events. So when you set up your scheduler and create a new event, the last step is now going to ask if you would like to enable automatic approval for that specific event. If you turn this on, then whenever somebody requests that specific kind of event, it will automatically be accepted and approved and put on both yours and the candidate's calendar. This is going to be a really big time saver for you and your team. You no longer have to log into your account to approve an event. It'll just quickly be put on your calendar, and you can see that information right in front of you without even having to necessarily log into your Spark Hire account. So this is going to ensure that you don't book another meeting at that time, but also ensures that the candidate is immediately notified that the request was approved, so they don't book anything else either. If you already have events set up on your scheduler, you can always go back into your settings for those events and turn this on. So this does not have to be enabled for every single event. If you see that edit button to the right of your events there is circled, you can enable it for one of them or all of them just by editing that event type that you have. To give a couple more details about our scheduler in general, you can enable it to create a live interview invitation once a request is approved. So when you're setting up an event type, the platform is going to ask if you would like to create a live interview. If you select yes, then the event will be put on your calendar and an invitation will be sent to your candidate. So you'll be able to see that invite both on your calendar and within the interview page on Spark Hire. At the time of the interview, you'll be able to click enter, and then meet with your candidate. So having that step enabled eliminates you having to go through creating a live interview for each candidate. You're able to just send them that scheduler link and the invitation will automatically create. So the scheduler is one of those tools that really has an impact on the efficiency of planning interviews post one-ways. And customers that use the scheduler have stated moving people through the process and onto the live interview portion is a lot quicker and easier now that they use that tool. So once you have your live interview scheduled, we can talk a little bit more about the live interview itself. So the scheduler went through some updates in regard to the live interview, and now the live interview has also gone through some updates in the past year. So live interview question sets were a feature that was released in the first quarter of 2022. Live interview question sets makes your live interview stage in your process just as organized as your one-way interviews. So while you're conducting a live interview, the host is able to see the list of questions that they created for that interview. So it's a really great way not only to keep your interviews structured and consistent across the board, but it also ensures that you don't forget to ask any questions that you might have. Also, when you're creating a live interview question set, you can reuse that same set of questions for all candidates you interview for that specific job. So during a live interview, to easily keep track of the questions you've asked and have yet to ask, you can click on the circle next to the question. You'll see a pop-up that says that the question has started. When the candidate finishes answering the question, you'll just click that check mark and the question will be checked off of your list. Once you're done with the interview and watch it back, you'll be able to see the interview is broken down and time-stamped with each question and when it was asked. So you can easily jump ahead or jump back based on the question. Quick note on those timestamps. If you accidentally mark a question as started a little late, no worries. Once the interview is completed, you are able to actually go to the interview page and modify the question start times or end times. So you would simply just click the edit button under the question, and then you can also add a bookmark to that question later on as well. Conducting your live interviews through the SparkHire platform makes reviewing live interviews and playing back specific or very important answers much easier for the people who attend the interview and others who were not able to attend. So these live interview bookmarks can also be seen when you send the live interview to a non-SparkHire user via a basic or advanced share link. If you ever want to test out live interviews, you can meet with our SparkHire support team. So we have a live interview concierge link here that Emily is going to put in the chat. So if you haven't had a chance to test the experience out, or if you have one coming up and just want to make sure everything goes smoothly, you can go ahead and just sign up for a time with one of our support members, and they'll walk you through the process. This goes for candidates as well. So if you'd like to share this with your candidates before they participate in their live interview, this will give them a chance to prepare and kind of know what to expect in terms of the technological aspect of using the platform. Finally, speaking of meeting with support, I just want to highlight some great changes made by our wonderful support team. So the first thing that we'd like to talk about is our extended hours. So previously, phone hours were Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Central Time. But now you or your candidates can contact the team by phone Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sunday from noon to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is another option as well. So the number is listed here on the screen. So feel free to write that down or screenshot it and include it in any email messages that you send out to candidates. I also want to let you all know that there is an option to submit a support ticket any day, anytime online. The ticket system has and still is always constantly monitored. It's just the addition of the new times for phone support. So Emily's going to pop the link to submit a support request here in the chat. And just a heads up, our support team is responsive via email 24/7. The phone is the only one that does have the limited hours there, but you will be able to receive support 24/7 via email if you just fill out one of those forms. And they're pretty quick on getting back to both candidates and our clients. A second big initiative that our support team has put together is our customer community, our online customer community. So this is going to be a place where you're able to ask questions and interact with other Spark Hire users, as well as team members on the Spark Hire team. So you can find anything from recommendations on best practices, platform updates, lunch and learn archives, Q&As, to just general discussion about the hiring process. So you can go to the community to learn about different types of questions you would like to ask your candidates, or how other companies are using the platform in their process. It's a really, really great way to interact with other Spark Hire users and gain insight that can benefit you, your colleagues, or your candidates. So it's a great way to network too, in the HR world. And our Spark Hire support team is always monitoring the community, and will also give input to any questions you might have. We highly recommend you check this out and participate. It is pretty new, so we would greatly appreciate any participation, even if you just want to pop in and say hello. But go ahead and check it out and take part in some of the conversations. We'd love to hear some of the best practices that you have implemented, what's worked with your organization within Spark Hire, what you've seen success with. So Emily is going to put that link in the for the community in the chat. Feel free to jump on in, join the conversation, and leave a comment or two on a post. So one of the last updates that we'll talk about today is going to pertain to Spark Hire's new ATS integration. So overall, Spark Hire integrates with 40 plus applicant tracking systems. And this past year, we added a new one, Seapel. So with this integration, companies are able to send one-way interviews directly to candidates while working within the Seapel ATS. Once a candidate completes their interview, the integration will generate a basic share link in the ATS. That's going to easily allow your team to view those completed interviews without having to log into a different site. So even if your team members, if you use Seapel, even if your team members are not Spark Hire users, they will be able to access that basic share link right from Seapel to view the interview. It's a quick and easy setup, and if you would like to learn more, have any other questions, please reach out to your customer success manager or your onboarding specialist. I believe we also have a step-by-step process document that they could provide you with as well. And with that being said, that was our final update in 2022. That's going to go ahead and wrap everything up for us. Something that's a huge benefit about using Spark Hire is that we really value our customers' experience while using the platform. A lot of these updates came from you all, from talking with you all. So if you have something in mind, have a suggestion, or have an idea that would make your Spark Hire experience better, highly recommend talking with your customer success manager about it during your quarterly calls. Shoot them an email if anything comes up. They'll take that information you give them and let our team know what our users are saying. And we really do value hearing your feedback. So if you got anything, feel free to, reach out to your customer success manager or even your onboarding specialist. All right. So Before we jump into Q&A, I just want to let you all know that Spark Hire's February Lunch and Learn will be hosted by our onboarding specialist, Alicia Garlow, and she'll be talking about the importance of branding in Spark Hire and beyond. So this is going to be a really great one to attend with a lot of valuable insight, and you'll be able to register for that soon, so keep your eyes peeled. It's going to be taking place on February 23rd at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. But now that we've gone over all of our new valuable features, just want to open the floor to any questions from the audience. I'll answer any ones that are in the chat already, and then go from there. So go ahead and pop those right in, and I will take some time to answer them. So we have, during a live interview, is there a place you can take notes during the interview and save them in the Spark Hire platform for each candidate? All right, it looks like Emily was able to answer that. We do not currently have an integration, or I'm sorry, no, she didn't, I'm sorry. So there is not a place to, I was looking at the wrong response there. So for the live interview, there is not a place for you to take notes during the interview or save them into Spark Hire, but afterward, you can leave notes in the comment section for yourself and your other teammates to see. Just keep in mind that when you do leave a comment, that you must leave a comment before being able to view anybody else's comments. And that's just in place to prevent bias. And then it looks like there was a question about an integration with Workday. We do not currently have an integration with Workday, but we are able to provide custom integrations, and we have worked with customers that use Workday in the past. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to your customer success manager and they can talk to you about a possible custom integration. Or like Emily said, we do have our Google Chrome extension, which could work as well. Your customer success manager can walk you through how to use the Chrome extension as well. During the live interview, can candidates also see the questions? No, so candidates will not see those questions. Those are more so for you and will be the host, whoever is hosting the interview, or the person asking the questions to see. And then afterward, if you bookmark them or timestamp, anybody you share the interview would be able to see them. But candidates will never, ever see those questions. All right. Oh, yes. And I do want to mention there was a customer feedback survey that went out today. So speaking of, leaving feedback, please go ahead. If you have anything, submit that form, that survey, and, we'll be able to help you out there. If you have any questions or if you just have any ideas, we always are collaborating with our engineering team. All right, just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions here as I go through. All righty. Well, it looks like I've gotten through all of the questions. I want to thank you all for your time today. And I also want to thank Macy for putting together this wonderful lunch and learn, and Emily for moderating. But thank you all so much for your time. This is going to be going out to everyone who registered. So if you had to jump off early or couldn't make it, hello from future us. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.